Write down 150. 150. That's how many properties have gone pending in this company so far since the 1st of November. Think about it. That means that we're selling houses even as it gets closer to the end of the year. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And today, I had 4 agents come up to me already and tell me they're putting deals into escrow today, tomorrow, this week, that will close before the end of the year. My point, and every single week I bring this to you, there's a system, and when you work the system, there's money that comes out of that system. Right? Say yes.
Yes.
All right. So, I give you suggestions, I give you examples, and some of you actually take it and implement it. And some of you don't. Any ideas as to why not? Talk to me, please. So complacency. Let me tell you why this is important. So I had a conversation with my wife this weekend, and the conversation was, Neil, I've always thought of you as a great salesperson, a person that could move people into ideas and getting them from point A to point B. I said, that's me. She says to me, so how come some of the people that work with you aren't doing deals and aren't buying what you're selling? So I said, okay, you're right. So maybe I'm not so great. I mean, you hear what I'm saying here? Do you guys get this? Now my wife is challenging me whether I'm a great salesperson or not, because I come in every week, here's the plan, here's how it works. If you do this, and this many times, you should get this. We see it working. We see it working over and over and over and over and over again. You know, here it is. We're running to the finish line. It's the last days of the last month of 2014, and we're still taking listings, getting pendings, and they're going to close before the end of the year. And yet some people sometimes don't get it. So obviously I'm not that great a salesperson. All right, I gotta work on this. So, you think it's complacency, Chris. That's one of the issues, and I agree. Any other thoughts? Why? Why? Distractions. Okay, good. Why else? We believe we have other options, or we have options. We believe we have other options. Okay, good. Good. So I wrote down here a couple of thoughts. Some of the items that we recommend take time to implement, and I don't have time now to do it. Does that resonate with some of you at some of the points? Okay. The second one I wrote down here is I have family commitments, and I have other things to do. Right? Okay. Or it's not urgent, and I have time to do it some other time. Also known as mañana. Tomorrow. Mañana. So I wrote down here, all growth requires change. Write it down. All growth in what we do requires change. And all change is uncomfortable. You know, just changing the schedule that we try to do, you know, when some of us have kids at home and we have school schedules, etc., and we're taking our kids to school or doing those kinds of things, and you've got your summer schedule, and that's all cool. Then all of a sudden you move from your summer schedule to your winter schedule, and you get off whack for a couple of weeks. That's uncomfortable. It happens. But that's all change is uncomfortable. The third thing, this is kind of what my wife and I were talking about this weekend, is you don't believe me that this will work. You don't believe me at some level. Or another one is you think you know better. I guess I would write down below that, how's that working for you? How's that working for you? Or another one is you don't reach your potential because it's the story you're telling yourself as to why you can't reach it. What gets in the way? We filter when somebody says do X. We really quickly come up with a bunch of reasons on why that won't work, right? Rather than a bunch of reasons as to, oh, that could work. We always go to we tend to always go to the negative as opposed to going to the positive. So I submit to you right now, between now and the end of the year, let's just assume what I'm suggesting, what your coach suggests, works, and that instead of looking for a reason not to do it, to do it. You get it? We don't have that long. How many days we got left? Days, like 34, 36 days, something like that? Not very long. We can do anything for 36 days. So like, believe me for the next 36 days. Try it, okay? So I wrote down here, a coach is someone who tells you what you don't want to hear and has you see what you don't want to see so you can become the person you've always known you can become. A coach is someone who tells you what you don't want to hear, as you see what you don't want to see, so that you can become the person you've always known you could become. A player's job, we're the coach, you're the players. The player's job is to do what the coach says, period. Just do what we say. Just for the next 36 days. Not forever, not for your lifetime, not into perpetuity, just for the next 36 days. Just do what we're asking you to do. I wrote down here, many of us went into real estate to be our own boss, right? Say yes. We went into real estate to be our own boss, right? Well, my suggestion is what you need to do is you need to be the boss. The boss is a person who lines out a list of things to do and then has you do them, right? You guys with me on this? Okay. And if you do that, you'll get paid X, Y, or Z, correct? And if you don't do it, what does the boss do? What? Fire. Some of you should fire yourselves. Think about it. Some of you, if you want to be your own boss, be your own boss. But that means have a plan, work the plan, do what you're supposed to do, and when you're not doing it, fire yourself. It's that simple. Get it? It's not hard. So I wrote down here, you still have time to list a home. You still have time to sell a home. You still have time to close a home. We need to surrender to this job for the foreseeable future, to run through the finish line. There's still time. I'm telling you, there's still time. You can, I don't care what you have right now. You could have no leads, no appointments, nothing on your radar. I get it. That might happen to some of you. But I'm here to tell you that by picking up the phone or going out and doing a few 5-5-10s over the next few days, just days, you can turn this around. Because there's people out there that want and need to buy and sell. So it doesn't matter you have nothing on your radar right now. What matters is if you take the activities. So I wrote down here, you need to be coachable. You need to do the activities that have been lined out for you. You need to be focused. You need to be committed. You need to be consistent, or I want you to fire yourselves. Fire yourself, stop being your boss, and come and let us be your boss. We're not as nice. But I guarantee you, you will be productive. I guarantee you, if you do what we ask you, if you do most of what we ask you to do most of the time, because no one does 100%. No one does 100%. But if you will do most of what we ask you to do most of the time, you will be successful beyond your wildest dreams. Beyond your wildest dreams. It's about your approach. It's about your expectations. It's about focus. It's about consistency. It's about being coachable. I wrote down here, if I did what I was supposed to do, how would that affect my financial life? Positive or negative? Positive. If I did what I was supposed to do, how would that my financial life was affected in a positive way, how would that affect my family? Positively or negatively? Positively. I say this all the time. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. Because if you do what we ask you to do, and you're having financial problems, then therefore you're probably having some family issues. If you're having some family issues, you're probably having some emotional issues, okay? A 5-5-10 could cure that immediately. A new pending, think about it. One new pending, one saleable listing. Whatever is going on in your life could be fixed immediately. 90% of what's wrong in our life could be fixed with massive prospecting, and yet we don't go forward. We're stuck. 5-5-10. Every workday for the balance of the year. If you did what you were supposed to do, and it positively affected your financial life, and it positively affected your family life, I asked the question down here, how would you start to feel about yourself? Good or bad? Good. Awesome. So I wrote down here one of my favorite quotes. Failure is not hitting your goal. We all have goals. We all have dreams. We all have things that we want to achieve. Failure is not hitting your goal. Failure is not hitting the activities necessary on a day-to-day basis to accomplish your goals. There is no shame in not hitting your goal. The shame is in not doing the work required to accomplish your goals. And for that, ladies and gentlemen, there is no excuse. Run through the finish line. Focus on what's necessary. Do what needs to be done. There are deals still out there. We talked about this in the beginning of the sales meeting. We've already opened 150 transactions in the company. We have a number of days left before the end of the month. I believe we're going to hit 200, 225 open transactions in November. In a down year of 2014 will end up being less than 2013. And yet, you guys, because you're running through the finish line, some of you are going to have a spectacular end of the quarter, a spectacular holiday season, and a phenomenal first quarter of next year. And it starts right now. Let's go make it happen. Thank you.